She is the chair of the Senate Republican Policy Committee. Senator Ernst, welcome. I think don't doesn't work, and you won the game doesn't work. I mean, why not listen to Robert O'Brien? You know him very well, a very savvy national security strategist. A proportionate response by Israel would be to knock out some of these drone factories, knock out missile factories. The Europeans might like it because they've been Iran selling drones to Russia in the Ukraine war. What do you make of that? Do you think that's a possibility?
Yes, I think it is the right thing to do. And thank you, Larry, very much. Former NSA Robert O'Brien is spot on. And Israel does need to target and push back on Iran. This cannot go unpaid back. We simply must see them respond in like to Iran. Unprecedented, Iran directly attacking Israel, not going through proxies, not using Hamas or Hezbollah, but going directly on Israel. The United States also has a role to play in this. One, we need to pass this supplemental package in whatever form it takes, make sure that we're able to provide the munitions and the platforms necessary for Israel to defend itself. But then we can also provide targeting. We can support with logistics. Whatever it might happen to be, we have a role as well to help our friend and major partner in the Middle East, Israel.
You know, it just strikes me, Senator Ernst, that the Biden advice here, unlike the O'Brien advice, the Biden advice to Israel is do nothing else. I think that shortchanges Israel. I think that plays into Iranian hands. And I think that plays into the whole axis of evil. You know, China, Russia, North Korea, Iran. I mean, to me, that isn't helping anybody but our enemies.
Oh, absolutely, Larry. You and I have discussed this before. President Biden is on this mission of appeasement with all of these authoritarian regimes around the world. He has got to step up and show leadership. He has failed in every aspect. As you mentioned, from the Iran nuclear agreement, where we basically unlocked billions of dollars for Iran to use on purchasing these drones and missiles to target not only Israel, but American service members in the Middle East. Think about the 3 service members from Georgia, those that serving in the Army Reserves at Tower 22, that were killed by the very missiles that were, or drones that were purchased by those dollars that Biden freed up for them. Not enforcing Iran's sanctions on their oil, allowing the illicit sale of oil at a 5-year all-time high and to the tune of $80 billion. Again, those funds go to the terrorist proxies and for the targeting of Americans abroad. So it needs to stop. The president needs to stand up. I have a bipartisan bill in the Senate. It's mirrored in the House, which would force the president to enforce those Iranian sanctions on their oil. He needs to do it today. Yeah, should have probably done it yesterday. Senator Ernst, the one distraction that I don't want to distract is the need for Israel to close the deal on Hamas. Cover Hamas, annihilate Hamas, destroy Hamas. I mean, they're going to make some action, presumably, to retaliate against Iran. Most people are for that. But they got to close the deal on Hamas. Isn't that, I mean, to some extent, in terms of the existential fight to maintain the Israeli state, to me, that's really the biggest single issue. Hamas. End it right now. Just knock them out. I agree completely. Hamas has to be gone. They need to release the prisoners as well. We know Hamas was holding 8 American prisoners, 5 of whom are still presumed to be alive. We need them home with their families today. But Hamas has to go. They are funded large in part by Iran. Israel should take them out. And Americans, you need to understand this will always be a threat to the existence of Israel. They need to be allowed to move forward with whatever they choose to do militarily to get rid of Hamas. The United States and others should not be interfering with what Israel wants to do militarily. We would not accept this if someone came to us after 9/11 and said, stop going after the terrorists.
And
we shouldn't allow it to happen in Israel.
Pardon me. Senator Ernst, last one, a few seconds. You know, a potential heartbreak story, though. We don't know. No one seems to know what hostages are still there, what hostages are alive, Israeli hostages, American hostages. As I'm sure you saw, very disturbing reports in the Wall Street Journal and elsewhere on Friday and Saturday before this Iranian attack. I mean, what about the hostages? Who knows?
Exactly. And we keep pressuring the Egyptians and the Qataris to step up and do more to get these hostages home. Senator Ted Budd and I have been extremely involved with the hostage families, working with officials in Israel to make sure those hostages are returned. But we know that Hamas is not treating them well. They don't even allow the Red Cross to go in to deliver medication to see for the welfare of those hostages. So we will stay on this, Larry, but bottom line, we got to get those folks home to their families. They need to be cared for. And again, Hamas needs to be wiped off of the face of the planet.
Yes, ma'am. Well said. Thank you, Senator Joni Ernst. As always, we appreciate it very, very much.
Well, thank you, Larry.